right here. You're on.
Okay, my name is Donald Roberts. I'm 45 years old. I began to work on the California Memorial Project 5 years ago. I was asked to work on this project here in Stockton to remember people who had died at Stockton State Hospital. In my research, I've discovered that there were 2,238 people remains that were found and then reburied here at the Stockton Roof Cemetery. That's where I'm at. Every year, there's a Senator Chesbro in Sacramento that started a bill called the California Memorial Project that's supposed to remember people who died throughout the state of California. And developmental centers are supposed to remember people, not forget them. But somehow these people here in Stockton are buried without no names. I believe that everybody is born with a name and everybody has a name and everybody should have a name. And that these people that are here should all be with a name and be remembered as a person. At one time they lived and they walked on the face of this earth and was part of this earth. And they should be remembered for who they are. I found some records in the Stockton Public Library when the Stockton State Hospital closed. The records gave the names of people that were cremated at Stockton State Hospital. Stockton State Hospital had a cremation room, and I have pictures of that, and they started marking people off with a check mark and then with dates, but with no names. Then the state officials, Department of Developmental Services and Protection and Advocacy told me to back off of the work. So I backed off not working on the project anymore. Now, because I helped started this every year in August or September throughout the state of California, and here at Stockton Roof Cemetery, we have what you call a Remembrance Day to remember all the people who died at Stockton State Hospital. Early last year, in November, there were 30 humans remains found in the back of the Stockton State Hospital, which is now a campus for CSCU College University, a new home, a Valley Mountain Regional Center, a grammar school and kindergarten school, and people could study and get education. The state paid $9.3 million for a new regional center, but yet the state can't give names of people or pay for a tombstone or for these people to be remembered. The site authority is also in charge of making decisions, and Grupe Commercial Company also makes decisions on where these humans remain supposed to be buried. They said as early as January came along the corner, there was no removal of persons. February came, March came, no removal of persons. Every time I call and ask and speak to Dan Kaiser, who's in charge, they always say they're waiting for the ground to dry, and after the ground dries, then they're going to start the removal of the remains. There's a group of organizations, the California People's First Mental Health Network, that helps puts on these services, and they get treated the same way too. They won't give us names of people or where they were born at or where they died. No, nothing's released. At one time they thought I was going through the buildings and breaking into buildings and said I was going to be put in jail if I didn't stop. Well, my heart goes out to the families of these people, and I think these people deserve to be remembered, and the families should have the right to know whether their moms and dads, sons and daughters are buried at. And they deserve a lot better treatment. Anything else?
Yeah, who specifically told you to back off, and what was the contents?
Bill Holland, Mental Health.
Okay.
I think Kaiser did once. Grupe told me to back off. And my boss at the regional center, Dick Jacobs.
Okay. And when you were growing up as a kid, what kind of rumors did you hear about the mental institute back then?
We knew that they cremated people, but we didn't know where the cremation was. So when Grupe took over the campus back in, I think, 98, they asked me to come back and to name the buildings. Most of my friends did not want to go back and help out, so, they got a hold of me. And I said, okay, if I name the buildings, then you're going to show me where the cremation room is. And so in return, and I gave names of the buildings, and in return, they showed me where the cremation room was, which is on top of the campus of CSCU College. That place was, the first floor was for activities, second floor was where consumers lived, and the third floor was nurses lived. In the basement, they also did, I guess, their experiments or electric shock treatment and things like that.
Okay, and you were mentioning this burial site here that we're standing by that I'll show momentarily, and it just says it's one headstone marker, and it says unidentified persons from the Stockton Mental State Hospital or
right?
something like that. What do you know about that?
I think when the college closed, they found these remains in the college. They didn't know what to do with them. They called the State Department, which is Department of Developmental Services, again, Bill Holland, mental health. And they tried to find out what to do with these bodies. I think the record said somebody came and paid for these remains to be buried here, but nobody signed for the remains. To say, hey, this is the state, or this is DDS, or this is regional center, we're paying for this, but there was no record of anybody signing for anything.
Yeah, and I think you said those are cremated bodies. When they showed up, it wasn't bones, it was cremated.
Yeah, they're cremated.
And were they in a big bag, or were they in individual containers,
or do you know?
Canisters.
Brown canisters.
Okay.
They were just left in the room with brown canisters.
And what about the other two burial sites that are here on the grounds?
On these grounds?
Yeah, one says, or there's one more, I think. It was said...
I think this is the only one.
Yeah, so this one's the 1990s. So there's one that's the 70s. He said back in the back part of the lot. What is your feeling about the bodies, the 30 bodies that are over there?
I think the state should take a big slap on their hands because they're doing wrong.